must rise and conquer the demon and slay the dragon that is the Pittsburgh Penguins. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. Brought to you by Scazano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scazanosports.com. And like I said before, the evil empire has once again risen up to snag yet another Stanley Cup in their history. And as we Darth Crosby sits upon his throne with a fifth cup added to Pittsburgh's collection, the third for him. Meanwhile, everybody here in Philadelphia is pretty much wondering, what the fuck? You know, pretty much that's what everybody is saying at this moment in time. And everybody in Nashville is screaming bloody murder over the non-disallowed, non-reviewed goal. And we'll get to that in a minute.
Yes, we will.
And for Brian over here, the Ducks fan, he can be probably pretty darn happy, I would have to say, since the Nashville Predators did not win the Stanley Cup after eliminating your Anaheim Ducks.
Not happy, but I'm
You're not pissed.
Thrilled. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. Look.
So I guess that counts, you know.
Absolutely does.
Yeah.
Can I just comment that when Maddie gives live reads, I love how towards the end of the read he slides up in his seat so he can slam it down.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, poor little Matty has little arms. He can't reach the table from his seat.
Shots fired.
Hey, it's better to have little arms than a little something else, right, Brian?
Hey-o! Fired back.
It happens. What are you going to do?
Anyway.
That's a problem none of us here have to deal with. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing. Not that I speak from experience, just guessing.
But anyway.
Good guess.
So anyway, so unfortunately for all of us here in the Philadelphia area, Sidney Crosby and the rest of the Pittsburgh Penguins are, for the second straight year in a row, the Stanley Cup champions, defeating the Nashville Predators in 6 games to claim their second straight Stanley Cup title, their third in, I believe it would be 10, 12 years. I believe it would be.
11? The last one was 08, right?
09.
09.
So, so somewhere around that range,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Their third cup in that period of time. So, gentlemen, I got to ask you this question. Has Pittsburgh officially replaced Chicago, or do they have to win another one in order to officially do that?
No, they're officially replaced. They, matter of fact, replaced the Detroit Red Wings of the 97-98 variety. First team to win back-to-back cups since then. That's something that the Blackhawks can't say they did, even though they won 3 in 5 years. The Kings can't say, winning 2 in 4 years. They won it back-to-back, and now, yeah, like you said, 3 in 18 years. Yeah, you know, we're going to be very gel on this show today. That's for sure, as I share this in the official Flyers hockey fan group here.
Yeah, I don't know how many likes that's going to get. But anyway, with that all being said, the Pittsburgh Penguins being, for the second straight year in a row, Stanley Cup champions, breaking the Detroit Red Wings 97-98 precedent that had stood since that time period. The team that got the closest up to that point of repeating was the Detroit Red Wings, strangely enough, of 2008 and 2009. They were unable to do so. And now the Red Wings get to boast this. Not only the last time did they get to the Stanley Cup Finals, they lost to the Pittsburgh Penguins, but the Penguins also took away their precedent for being the last team to repeat as Stanley Cup champions.
Correct.
So if you think it's bad to be a Flyers fan and be salty, the Red Wings fans must be feeling real salty because their team basically got erased as being the last team to repeat.
Well, I mean, look at it. Yeah, I mean, totally get what you're saying, but also look at it this way. The Detroit Red Wings were also the last team to beat the Pittsburgh Penguins in the Stanley Cup Finals, too.
That is true. They are the last team to say that they have done that.
You said that on the ride over to the studio as well. Really
And
kicking mud in their face.
Even more, they're the only one that's beaten Pittsburgh in the Stanley Cup Finals. No other team's done it. The North Stars didn't do it. The Blackhawks didn't do it. And now the Predators and the Sharks didn't. Detroit is the only one that says that they can say that they've beaten the Pittsburgh Penguins in a Stanley Cup final. They're the only ones.
Wow, so Pittsburgh is
They've
won just about every single Stanley Cup that they've been in then.
They are a whopping 5-1 in their Stanley Cup appearances.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yep. They've only lost one time, and that was to the Red Wings. That's it.
Wow. There's your fun fact for today, folks.
Yep.
Very interessante.
Enjoy, Penguins fans. Kiss my ass. Anyway, so with that being said,
Come on, man. Give some credit where credit's due. I hate the
all
Pens, too.
right. The team, again, proving last year was not a fluke. They did a great job this year of absolutely annihilating and cannibalizing the Columbus Blue Jackets in the first round. What was a 5-game series felt like a sweep. Moving on, they once again managed to stop Alexander Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals, who choked their way out of another 7-game series. And then, in a very hard-fought battle in the Eastern Conference Finals, they managed to stave off elimination from the Ottawa Senators and beat the Ottawa Senators. So, I mean, big ups to them being able to repeat for the second straight year as Stanley Cup champions in 2 straight series, actually 3 straight series that were not easy to finish off, that was against a rival, against a tough Ottawa team, and against a tough, hard-fighting underdog Nashville Predators team. So credit given where credit is due. You had 3 opponents that were not easy to beat, and you got the job done where it mattered the most. You came in clutch.
I don't know if you all are going to be able to see this or not, but here's my one shot at the Penguins that I'm going to take. This is hilarious.
2 girls.
That's better than the Brokeback Mountain one of a few years ago.
I think so, too.
It's so fun. You got to have that team that you hate because they're just that damn good. In baseball, it's the Yankees. In football, it's the Cowboys, classically. And it really seems like in hockey, it's the Penguins now.
It's because they're good. Like, here's the thing. People and fans aren't going to hate on somebody who stinks. How many people hate on Arizona? How many people hate on a specific player in Arizona?
Nobody.
Exactly my point. People are going to hate on the people that are good because it's not their favorite team. It's not their favorite player. They don't play for their favorite team. Stuff like that.
Oh, I do hate on the Winnipeg Jets, though. And they stink.
No, you just hate on Dustin Byfuglien.
This is true. I hate Dustin Byfuglien. He's a piece of shit. But anyway.
Byfuglien.
So with that all being said, I think I've said that 4 or 5 times now. I got to stop that. Game 6, Nashville, not Smashville anymore. It's gone back to Nashville after the Predators got eliminated. The Preds looked like they got on the board first. Turns out they didn't because the play that was the goal was blown dead. And the referee did blow the whistle. That did happen. But
as he's supposed to do, you lose sight of the puck, you blow the whistle.
Now, to clarify for anyone out there who did not see this, the puck was not under at any point Pittsburgh Penguins goalie. I believe it was it Murray or Fleury? I forget.
Murray.
It was Murray, yeah. I thought
Don't forget that. Murray, 2 shutouts in a row to wrap it up.
I've been trying to get it out of my mind. Thank you very much. But anyway, somebody messaged me on Facebook. How polite. Anyway, so with that all being said, it was basically just one thing after another with Pittsburgh. The puck's not under Murray. It does go in. The referee blew the whistle before it crossed the line. However, in the rule book, it does state that even though the referee did blow the whistle, the call should still be reviewed because the puck was not under Murray at any point in time.
100%.
And unfortunately, the NHL officials decided not to review this, even though they did this earlier in the season with the Calgary Flames and gave the goal back to them after officially disallowing it. But they had reviewed the call, called it a good goal. Even though the referee had blown the whistle, it doesn't matter because the play was still good. Unfortunately, they did not do the same here. So, in my opinion, that's disgusting for the fact that the NHL once again has tainted a Stanley Cup victory. I feel bad for the Pittsburgh fans because now they're going to have to suffer for the fact for the uneducated fans out there who are going to say, oh, yeah, but you guys cheated because the league didn't give that call back to Nashville, which would have been a goal. Yes, you do have a point, but really at the end of the day, it's the NHL's fault. It's the officials' fault for not reviewing this call. You blew that call. Unfortunately, Pittsburgh just happened to be at the wrong place, right time, and they wound up getting it on their side.
Well, this is how I feel about this situation, Matt, right? The referees never want to be that deciding factor, especially in a potential elimination game, let alone in the Cup Finals, right? What better way to not be the deciding factor than let's take it to the videotape, let's send it to Toronto, right? Put the monkey on their back, whether it's going to be a no goal or not, or depending on when the whistle was blown. It's straight in the rule book. Zach Burr from the Rundown posted on Twitter at us, verbatim says that if a referee blows the whistle, which he's supposed to do when he loses his sight, and there's a goal as a result, it is video reviewed. And the fact that they didn't do it, right, tells me one of two things. One, the younger referees in this league suck. Right, we've lost veteran referees, and the younger referees, as you pointed out on the way here to the show, maybe are too loose in the AHL, and that's no excuse. No excuse. You're a professional. And if you're working a cup final, you need to be the epitome of a zebra, and they were not. Number two, it shows me that this league wanted the Penguins to win, and this is a bit of a conspiracy theory, and there always is. You hear this in the NBA Finals, that they wanted to extend that series and have the Cavs come back in it, and the refs in that Finals were certainly allowing the Cavaliers a lot of liberties as well to happen. So they have a judgment call to take to the video review. Okay. We want, the league, Batman in the league, they want that first back-to-back champ. It's a great story. Disallowed goal. Changed the whole landscape of the game. Do the Penguins still go on and win? I think yes, because you look at the onslaught of that game, and they would have still won that game, but not in the same fashion. It changed the landscape, and you never know once that crowd gets rip-roaring down in Smashville.
Well, Brian, you go ahead.
Two things here. First of all, I think that call was a makeup call because there was a situation earlier in the series, I believe it was Game 4, where Nashville scored a goal. They waved it off, continued to play for about 3 or 4 more minutes before reviewing it and calling it a goal.
I know what one you're talking about, but really in an elimination game, you're really going to do that? If you are, as an official crew, going to say we're going to do a makeup call here for what happened earlier in the series, you should be fired immediately because that's uncalled for. It's an elimination game. It's the Stanley Cup Finals. It's not just some first-round matchup where, okay, really, in the grand scheme of things, did it really ruin a team's chance of becoming immortalized in the Stanley Cup? No, it didn't really ruin that. It may have ruined their postseason hope of getting to the next round, but there's always next year in that case. This is the Stanley Cup Finals we're talking about.
No, I get what you're saying. I really do. I understand. But at the same time, Nashville did not score a single goal in that game. They did not score a single goal.
Yes.
They did not score a goal in the game before.
Yes.
You can't win hockey games if you don't score. As much as people want to say that they're going to blame the referee, and I get it. I understand. But there was still a ton of time. There was probably more than 50 minutes or maybe 40 minutes left in that game. That happened in the first 2 minutes of the second period. And Nashville did nothing since. You can't really – I guess you can blame the referee and the blown call on that, but Nashville did not do anything since then.
Well, again, I think it's the wind getting taken out from your sails. You think you're going up 1-0, and then boom, the goal's taken away from you. And then all of a sudden, Pittsburgh gets a new kind of wind in their sails, saying like, their goal's taken away. Now it's back to even playing field.
But and I get it because Murray and Pekka Rinne were playing really good in that game. They were both outstanding in that game, made a ton of great saves. But it's a 0-0 game going into the third period. And it's a 0-0 game halfway through the third period. You're not going to win if you don't score.
No, and it's true. Whether the disallowed goal or the not disallowed goal, whatever that comes into play, though, you are bringing up a very good point. Pittsburgh was shutting down Nashville for the last 2 games. In Pittsburgh, they couldn't even remotely get a goal on the board. They couldn't buy a goal. And Pittsburgh was just absolutely crushing them on the scoreboard. And then you come back to Nashville, and by the way, this is held true. Game 5 did determine the eventual winner of the Stanley Cup Finals, like we had said. But Game 6, again, it's a little bit of a different situation with that situation. If that goal does not get called off, who knows what would have happened. But I hear what you're saying, though. Pittsburgh was shutting down Nashville for the last 2 games.
And if Nashville is as good as they claim to be and deserve to be in the Stanley Cup Final like everybody thought, it's up to your captains, Mike Fisher, PK Subban, Philip Forsberg, those guys to say, hey, listen, the goal got disallowed. That's okay. Let's go out. Let's keep pushing. Let's get another. Let's get one that actually counts. And they didn't do that.
Well, this actually isn't uncommon for Peter Laviolette teams. for the wheels to come off of a quick bad something that happens. We know from firsthand experience the wheels have fallen off on a few occasions when Pierre Laviolette was behind the bench, mostly because we were facing a team that was here and we were here. The same thing happened here with Nashville. Nashville, the wheels fell right off. The moment that goal got disallowed, that was the end. Nashville, basically, that you could point to that moment as the moment Nashville lost the Stanley Cup. Now, again, that's me saying that's the official's fault. Not really. What Brian is saying is it's also Nashville's fault too, because they should have responded the appropriate way, and they did not respond the appropriate way. They folded under that, and they shriveled up when the spotlight got the hottest on them. Pittsburgh, like they have in the past, they absorbed it, and they took full advantage of it.
And like Rob said, people are going to come up with the same conspiracy theory that he had. Oh, the NHL loves Pittsburgh. They love Sidney Crosby. They want to see Sidney Crosby. Yeah,
they do.
I get it. And yeah, you see that. And it's not exactly like the NHL hides it.
No.
But at the same time, you will never win a hockey game if you can't score a goal.
Yeah, I mean,
Nashville did not do that at any point in Game 5 or Game 6.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the sad part of Nashville. You know, like I said, the wheels started falling off there, and it did in Game 5. They absolutely got crushed. Game 6, you know, if that goal still had been allowed, like Rob said, who knows? Pittsburgh still probably could have came out on top of that. If everything would have had gone the same exact way and that goal still stands, Pittsburgh still wins the Stanley Cup because they would have scored 2 goals in the third period.
You know what a good argument against that maybe a lot of Penguins fans are saying? If my aunt had 2 balls, she'd be my uncle. You can't talk in hypotheticals. It is what it is. It's up for the Predators to come forth with a strong effort, which they did. I mean, maybe another option for our poll could have been Murray. I mean, with the 2 shutouts in the end, I mean, he kept them in that game. Because if Nashville won that game, and now it's tied 3-3 going back to Pittsburgh. Yes, Pittsburgh does still have the advantage because, you know, they have won all 3 of their home games, yada, yada. Now this is back in Pittsburgh. That's why they had home ice. But you never know what can happen in a Game 7. I mean, if the Flyers came back against the Bruins back in 2010, and yes, I am still clinging to that. That's correct, right? Anything's possible. Anything's possible is what I'm saying.
No, I mean, I wholeheartedly agree. You know, it came up to Nashville and didn't answer the call.
Well, with that being said, though, and everything, with Pittsburgh officially being on top, let's just do a comparison here. Just because, you know, I am wallowing in the pity. We might as well keep this going. Let's compare and contrast the 2 Keystone State teams. The Pittsburgh Penguins have gone to the Stanley Cup Finals 6 complete times. Pittsburgh has faced the Minnesota North Stars and swept them. Faced the Chicago Blackhawks and swept them. By the way, this was the Minnesota North Stars' best team that they faced. And this was the Chicago Blackhawks with Jeremy Roenick in his prime.
You're going to go there?
This is true.
You're going there.
I might as well. Why not? At this point, I don't care. It is what it is.
It's the 4th time I've heard this theory today.
Yeah. To go along with it, then the 3rd time they go to the Stanley Cup Finals, they face the Detroit Red Wings. All right, even teams, and the Detroit Red Wings walked away with the win. They rematched the very next year. Pittsburgh wins. Again, that was a coin toss. It could have gone either way. Then you go to the last 2 years. San Jose, very first time ever going to the Stanley Cup Finals, team that was completely overmatched by the Pittsburgh Penguins and got absolutely crushed in the Stanley Cup Finals. And then you face a Nashville team that was the biggest underdog and the biggest Cinderella story this year, beating the Blackhawks, beating the St. Louis Blues, beating the Anaheim Ducks, going to the Stanley Cup Finals, and getting just 2 wins away from the Stanley Cup. Doesn't that sound familiar for a Peter Laviolette team, too? That sounds very familiar.
Very familiar.
Yeah, I get it. But think about it. He won a Stanley Cup with Carolina, but they also played Edmonton at that point.
They played Edmonton.
Yeah.
They were the 8th seed. Albeit Edmonton did take them to 7 games. So that was a pretty close series all the way down the stretch.
I don't think you went where I thought you were going with that.
What, you were going? Because you haven't heard the other side.
Well, that's true. All right, go ahead.
All right. Well, the other side of it's this. The Flyers, on the other hand, every time we've gone to the Stanley Cup Finals, the first 2 times we faced the Boston Bruins and barely beat them in 74 because they had a great team and we just happened to outbully them, and we won a Stanley Cup. 75, we crushed the Buffalo Sabres because the Sabres really had no chance against us. 76, the Montreal Canadiens, who went on to win 5 straight Stanley Cups in the 70s. 1980, we faced the New York Islanders, 4 straight Stanley Cups. 2 times in the 80s, we faced the Oilers, who won 5 Stanley Cups and won one without Gretzky. 97, we faced the Detroit Red Wings, which albeit that was a year we should have won. We still choked that year. I'm not going to give that one an excuse. And then in 2010, we faced the Chicago Blackhawks, who went on to become the next dynasty. Like, what the hell? Like, what is it with us having to face dynasties in this freaking Stanley Cup Finals? And Pittsburgh faces the teams that are in their first ever Stanley Cup Finals half the time. Seriously.
And even the one example you gave with the Detroit Red Wings, right? They were a very underrated team. People didn't know what the Red Wings were before they, really went on and had a nice run of their own. So, I mean, granted, the Flyers were the superior team, and yes, I'm not going to disagree with you that they choked, but the Red Wings were a pretty damn good team, too, deserving of the Cup.
They were. They had that Russian team. They had the Russian guys on there, and they also had, Mike Vernon in goal, who was actually a very good goalie and a very underrated goalie, who had played for Calgary previously for that and won a Stanley Cup. No one remembered that. Don't know how you don't remember that. Again, I don't know. How do you even rate the 97 Red Wings to not be as good as the Flyers? Yzerman was on that team, for God's sake.
Fedorov, Lindstrom.
Who else? What's his face?
Chelios.
Chelios.
Slava Kozlov.
Who was it?
Cicerelli?
Cicerelli. Yeah. That's who I wanted to think about. Dino Cicerelli was on. That team was built.
Too, right?
Yeah. That team was built. So I don't understand how they did not compare that. You know why it was? Because they got swept by the Devils 2 years prior to that. That's the reason why.
And at that time, people were hating on the Russians. They had just started coming over to the NHL, being really, able to leave the Soviet Red Army team. And, if you ever get a chance to watch that special, oh, my God, it's just a great special about the aftermath of 1980. I think that was an ESPN 30 for 30, but don't quote me on that. Fabulous, fabulous special. Got a bunch of comments coming in. Should I roll with them?
Well, we're going to go to break, and when we come back, we'll get right to that. So, on the other side, we'll get more into the comments on YouTube, and then we will dive into a little game with Alexander Ovechkin on the other side. But first, let's talk to you about Gibson Mayer LLC. They are your certified public accounts located at 301 Oxford Valley Road in Yardley, PA. You can give them a call at 215-369-3300. Tax season was here, but be ready for next year. So be ready, be prepared, get Gibson Mayer. This is the Hockey Happy Hour on A2DRadio.com, and we'll be right back after this.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard. A2DRadio.com is sponsored by The Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
You're listening to the Hockey Happy Hour, only on A2DRadio.com.
In the base.
I don't know what's worse. What's worse? The Penguins being 2 straight years in a row Stanley Cup champions, or the New Jersey Devils having won the Stanley Cup, having beaten us to get to it?
It's always the damn Devils.
The Devils. All right, we'll go with that one. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. And speaking of which, have you ever wanted the ultimate driving experience? Well, then go to BMW of Atlantic City. They're easy to get to. Minutes off of exit 37 of the Parkway, located at 6037 Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey. Give them a call at 609-568-9200. And they are online at www.bmwofatlanticcity.com.
I'm liking this bed.
It is an awesome bed, I will say. That is awesome. So, in case people came in late, I'm Matt Satsuti. That's Rob Povia.
Yes.
And the Darkwing Brian Daly behind the board.
I am fixed. I'm not broken.
Yet. That may change. That may change.
I was almost broken after this playoffs, but...
Almost. If the Ducks get to the Stanley Cup Finals and lose, then yes, you will be.
I was almost broken this time.
In 7 games. But anyway, that's a different story for a different time. As we came from break, we were going to go into an Ovechkin topic. But before we do, we did have some comments on YouTube. So, Rob, what's going on with the fans out there?
Oh, we got comments everywhere. I'm actually going to start on Facebook.
All right.
We asked you who should have won the Conn Smythe Award in this year's Stanley Cup Finals. Crosby, who did. Jake Gensel, or Evgeny Malkin, or maybe even a Nationals Predator in the losing effort. A couple people responding in. Tom goes Crosby as was. You know, he's their leader. He's their captain. I love Frank Vespi's answer, Gensel. And I'll get to a reason why in just a second. Bernie Campbell goes hands down Murray. And I'm not hating that answer because 2 shutouts to wrap up the series.
That's a good pick. I think you would have to also give it to Fleury too, because he also got them there.
Right.
You know,
that's probably because you got to think about it. It's not just the finals. It's not the MVP of the finals. The MVP of the playoffs. So yeah, no, absolutely, that might have been to Murray's detriment. The best answer though on the board, Stephanie Hoover. The refs should have won the Conn Smythe Award. Terrific comment. Terrific comment. The point I wanted to get to is that Jake Gensel, I think, was deserving. He was my dark horse for the Conn Smythe because he tied the rookie playoff points record with 21 when he got an assist in Game 5. Tying Dino Cicerelli, who we talked to during the break, that was certainly a great achievement. Also, I believe 14 goals within the playoffs.
13, I believe, was his final count.
Yeah, 13. So, certainly deserving. Also, I mean, my pick would have been Malkin. I think he led all scorers in points. I think he really carried them offensively when Crosby was getting all the attention. When he was getting double teamed in front of the net and the boards, it was Malkin being a sniper and a playmaker. And he was my Conn Smythe pick, but the league loves Crosby, and deservingly so. I mean, you got to say that he's currently the greatest hockey player currently playing. I mean, I think guys like Connor McDavid can challenge that, but right now, and based on back-to-back Cup victories and 3 since 2009, yeah, Crosby is that mold, but Malkin would be my pick for the Conn Smythe. Quick aside as we get into a little bit of around the league topics, David Roska chimes in on YouTube. He really wants to see Chris Kunitz and Nick Bonino be back on the Anaheim Ducks. How do you feel about that, Ducks fan?
Dave, I agree with Nick Bonino, but Chris Kunitz is getting a little up there in age. The only thing that he's really going to bring is Stanley Cup experience.
So
I'm not against it.
So he'll be going to the Vancouver Canucks.
Well, I mean, that's where Bonino went. He was a part of that Ryan Kessler deal.
Yeah, I know.
And then he went over to
Pittsburgh because he realized it was a shit show over there.
Oh, my God, Vancouver's a shit show. But, Dave, I agree with Bonino. I want to see Bonino back, but I don't think we're going to see Chris Kunitz back.
Fair enough. Sticking with the West Coast, Sharks assistant Bob Bugner, former NHL defenseman, hired by the Florida Panthers to replace Tom Rowe as coach.
Interesting. Well, the Panthers need to do something because this year was terrible for them. Whew. You can't put the injury excuse on this one. That team is just awful this year.
Put a little clothespin on it. Close off those
nostrils.
Yeah, those nostrils.
I mean, that was like the Florida Panthers of the early 21st century. Nowhere near playoff contention.
Yeah, they weren't very good.
Tom Rowe out, Bob Bugner in, and that, sir, is around the league.
All right. Well, with that being said,
stick around the league maybe with Ovi, right?
Yeah. So getting into this one, now we're going to play a little game here. Since the trade talk has been running through and an offer was already put out for Alexander Ovechkin, it was a deal from the Calgary Flames. First off, we had talked about it. Brian, you weren't here on the show when we brought that up. What is your personal opinion on that?
On trading Alex Ovechkin?
For the deal that Calgary was offering.
They were offering him Sam Bennett.
A defensive prospect and 2 first-round picks, yeah.
You got it. Mr. Hockey. Forget about Gordie Howe. Mr. Hockey sitting in the corner over there.
I don't understand why I'm in the corner, but whatever.
Well, you know what you did. Now just sit there and think about it.
No,
I like
there. It's a good spot to be in.
Listen, I like the deal. I don't know. The 2 first-round picks is obvious. You need to give at least 2 first-round picks to get Alexander Ovechkin because you're getting 30, 40, 50-plus goals with Alex Ovechkin. You know what you're getting with him. And he's still young enough that you can still kind of build a team around. As far as the players go, I don't know much about the defensive player that they gave up, but I know Sam Bennett's a good hard-nosed center. He'll get you 20, 25, maybe 30 goals a year. I think he could fit well into this scheme that Washington has.
Did you think it was enough?
Maybe another player.
I think it had to be another player, right?
I think there has to be another player.
I would say Sean Monahan.
You're not gonna. I mean, as much as you're gonna want Ovechkin, you don't want to give up Sean Monahan. I don't care who you're giving him up for.
I get it, but it would take that. You know, it really would take that to really sweeten the deal and make Washington say, okay, Ovechkin, see you later. Go enjoy Calgary. We'll take Sean Monahan and the rest of that.
Well, apparently Ovi wants to play in Canada.
Oh, I don't blame him. I mean, hockey's beloved over there. Not that it's not beloved in Washington. I don't know how, but, you know, it is.
Especially with where the arena is. Do you know where the Verizon Center is?
No, I've never been there.
It's in the middle. It's right on the edge of Chinatown.
So, really, I should be happy I've never been there?
I've been there. It's actually a really nice arena.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, I mean, If I'm Brian Burke or the GM of whoever the GM of Calgary is anymore, I don't even know who it is anymore. I lost track. But I even if I'm getting Ovechkin, I still think if I give up Monahan, I'm taking a step back.
I mean, you are giving up youth for.
You're not even just giving up youth. You're giving up a good, solid centerman who's going to get you 30 goals a year.
But that's another reason why you would have to think about. They would have to give something up like that in order for Washington to really sniff at it.
I mean, that's a lot right there that Calgary is giving up.
True, but I think Washington would want more. To be honest with you, Washington would want more for Alex Ovechkin.
Maybe an NHL ready prospect, and maybe not a Sean Monahan though.
The GM name you're thinking, Brad Treliving. What a great last name. Or I don't know if that's the absolute pronunciation, but Trey, T-R-E.
But with that being said, though, as we'll go through the rest of the teams in the NHL, as it stands now, do you think Calgary could get
Centerman that you don't really have? You have Bennett, who's good. You have Monahan, who's good. Backlund, he's okay. He's a good face-off guy, but I mean, you don't really want to lose one of those guys. If you want to give somebody else up, give up another winger. I could see Tkachuk going because Washington already messed up trading away Philip Forsberg.
Oh yeah, that was a terrible deal.
So maybe
deal.
you try and make up for it and you try and get Matthew Tkachuk out of Calgary in that deal.
What was that deal? It was Philip Forsberg for what was it? Ryan Johansson?
No,
no,
that
wasn't Ryan Johansson. Who was it that they traded for him? Either way, it wasn't a good deal. They absolutely lost that deal. But anyway, with that being said, we move on to the next team on the list. Let's go with Edmonton. Who would Edmonton have to give up to get Alex Ovechkin? Obviously, we're going to throw Connor McDavid off the board. He's not going to be available, and Nugent Hopkins ain't going nowhere either. Well, maybe Nugent Hopkins. You know what? Actually, I take that back. I could see them throwing a Nugent Hopkins in there, saying, you know what? Hey, we'll give you Nugent Hopkins. We'll give you, who else would they give? Would you give him Letestu?
Real quick.
Yeah.
Forsberg was traded to Nashville for Martin Erat.
There we go.
And Michael Lotta, who's been decent for Washington, but
still a shitty deal. Yeah. By every stretch of the imagination. Washington would be ashamed of them. They should be ashamed of themselves. They got fleeced. Losing Philip Forsberg. Are you kidding me? But anyway, so with Edmonton going down, here's what I would say. I give you Connor McDavid and Letestu because, Letestu's a veteran. So how much longer is he going to be around? No,
he's fairly young.
Not Connor McDavid.
No, I'm not Connor McDavid. Nugent Hopkins. My bad.
Yeah,
Why would I throw in Connor McDavid?
Yes.
You throw in Nugent Hopkins, who's a young player, who's definitely a highly touted prospect. Letestu still got years on him, like you said, but he is a vet. So you're not really giving up youth for veteranship,
We might as well move on to the next team because the Oilers aren't doing this deal.
Nah.
I mean, think about what success they've had. I don't think you try to farm out some of your team to go get an Ovechkin because, I mean, not that a team couldn't use Ovechkin. Every team in the NHL could, right? But I don't think you need to disrupt the core of your team because that team's on the uprise. See, Calgary, first-round exit makes a little bit more sense.
See, here's where I disagree.
Yeah?
You can keep that core together because obviously you have Leon Draisaitl, who's not going anywhere.
Leon Draisaitl, yeah.
Connor McDavid's not going anywhere. And you're probably not going to trade Nugent Hopkins after the year that he had. But you can trade a Jordan Eberle. You could trade possibly a Milan Lucic. You could possibly trade
Lucic be a good fit in Washington.
He would, but would they trade Ovechkin for Lucic? I don't know. That seems like you're trading a different kind of player for a superstar player. That doesn't sound like a smart move.
Well, you have to throw the other pieces like
all right, yeah.
You have to put a combination. But no, it's still not absolutely smart.
There's another player on that Edmonton roster that I'm blanking on that it does. They're talking about trading.
Is it Letestu?
No, it's not Letestu. I'll look it up. You guys can continue.
All right. Well, either way, so we go with Edmonton. Edmonton could get him if they want to, but I don't think Edmonton would, to be honest with you. I think I agree with you, Rob. I don't think they were going to go for that.
I think that's the one thing that they're missing, though, is a veteran leader like that. I mean, yeah, you're going to get that from what's his name? Where did Edmonton go? Oh, there they are.
Talking Zach Cassian?
No, not Zach Cassian. Although I can't stand
You would
that guy.
wish they traded him away to Washington, so you wouldn't have to deal with him anymore.
Sakara, maybe a defenseman.
I would package up Jordan Eberle, the 2 first-round picks, because obviously I think that they're gonna want the 2 first-round picks for Ovechkin, and maybe you send them young winger Jesse Puljujarvi.
He's a good player. He's a good young player. I played him a little bit in fantasy hockey.
He is a good player. He's young. He's good. He's something that could potentially be something, he could fit Washington's system.
Right.
All right. Well, next up, Chicago.
Maybe. I mean, you put him with Taves and Kane. Jesus.
They're winning 4 more cups.
No.
Like, seriously. If
Not
they,
Chicago.
Not Chicago?
Not Chicago.
They got the
Chicago?
pieces, though. They do have the pieces. You
They
can trade
do.
away a Nick Schmaltz. He's a good, talented centerman who seems to be, the odd man out.
They do, and I believe I don't know how official this is because I haven't heard anything since the one report is apparently Torrey Kruger is going to Vegas.
For the
baby.
expansion?
No trade.
Oh,
Right.
they're going to trade him. Okay, then. Never mind.
I heard
seen
that too,
Yeah, I
yeah.
heard that. I haven't seen a report on it since, but it's probably something that somebody is spouting off at the mouth at and can't support it. But anyway, Chicago, you got to worry about the cap space with Chicago.
That's true. But you would have to sell a lot of your back end in order to fit Ovechkin into the roster because you can't get rid of Taves and Kane because you signed them to long-term deals. So Washington ain't taking that. So you would have to find guys on your back end that are talented, which they have, and send them away to get Ovechkin.
But here's the problem with that: you got Kane and Taves that are making $8 million. I believe Duncan Keith is somewhere around 5 or 6. With Brent Seabrook, who's probably around 5 or 6.
Both
and you're
deserving
bring
to
in
sell.
you're gonna bring in Ovechkin, who's got probably I think his cap hits like 10 plus.
Well, yeah, that would be good. See, if this was the non-salary cap era, Chicago could do this. But in this era, yeah, it's a little too much of a stretch for Chicago to pull that off.
And they're not raising the cap much. The cap, I believe, this year is $73 million on the dot.
Yeah, it's a little crazy to see Chicago doing that because they'd have to sell a lot of their back end. They would have to sell their ass pretty much to go get Alexander Ovechkin,
Their back end.
Yep.
I mean, maybe if
I
you
see
get
what you did there.
I mean, maybe if you trade like a Duncan Keith or a Brent Seabrook, but that's probably not going to happen. I mean, Brent Seabrook might be.
If they did that, though, and they sent both of them away, that not only makes up for Kevin Shattenkirk, that makes up for him double. And then you could easily get an Alexander Ovechkin for that. It's like, hey, you lost Kevin Shattenkirk. We give you Brent Seabrook and Duncan Keith. I don't think we need to debate anymore whether you give us Ovechkin or not because you need defense, and we will give you defense.
Yeah,
Stanley Cup winning defense, by the way.
Brent Seabrook's name is being thrown around in some trade rumors, but
Which is smart. You trade away the value player after having a not-so-productive season.
But even still, I don't think there's enough there to really clear the cap space for Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah,
Which is why I think Chicago will not be in on that.
Nor would they trade Panarin ever. They're not trading him away.
I think they'd be done to trade him.
Yeah, they were
But
not
that's
going
just
to
me.
trade him away. Go along with that, Columbus. Now, actually, that's not too far of a leap of the imagination for Columbus to try and go get Alexander Ovechkin. I mean, do they have the players to go get him, though, is the question. They showed a lot this year with a lot of high offensive attack. That whole team together was unbelievable. Imagine if Ovechkin was on that team, what they could do. Hell, that may have been the difference maker whether Columbus actually puts up a fight against Pittsburgh or not. Well, maybe not this year, but in another year, possibility-wise.
You know what it would take for Columbus to get him? Zach Werenski.
Yeah,
They'd
that would be
absolutely
exactly
take that.
what it would take.
And that wouldn't be smart business for Columbus because he's a superstar.
Maybe even.
But so is Ovi, though.
Oh, never mind. He's not in Columbus anymore. I don't think Columbus really has the talent.
Yeah, that was what I was wondering because when you think about Columbus, that was a team effort that really got them to where they were. And Bobrovsky.
I mean, do you send Seth Jones out there?
Yeah, you could, and that makes up for Kevin Shattenkirk in youth for Washington, so that's not a bad move for them. But then again, you're also giving away your defensive leader who would have years ahead of you to go get Ovechkin, who's an aged superstar. He's still a superstar, but you're trading youth away for a superstar. Is that a smart move at the end of the day? Where your team's at?
I mean, it could be. I mean, I feel like Columbus's cap isn't that bad. I mean, you lost Ryan Johansson.
You did.
You need that.
did.
You need a scorer
Which-
like that.
By the way, that came back to bite him in the ass big time in that series against Pittsburgh. They absolutely needed a guy like Ryan Johansson to be scoring to even remotely match Pittsburgh, which they did not have.
I'm with you.
But with that being said, though,
I'm just waiting for you to get to my team because I got the perfect trade partner. I mean, Calgary probably is too, but we've covered that.
Yeah.
I got one that isn't being talked about.
Minnesota.
That's not it. But that could be.
They could be good.
They need offense, or they need a team that ain't gonna go cold at the last minute.
But I think they're another team that's fighting close to the cap, though.
If you want a player that doesn't go cold in the playoffs, do you really trade for
Yeah,
Ovechkin?
that's a good point. Yeah,
Being a phenomenal regular season guy.
yeah.
You know?
Darling of the regular season, absolute shit in the playoffs.
What were you saying, Brian?
I was going to say, I think Minnesota's pretty close to the cap, too.
Yeah.
They are, yeah.
When they
And I
re-signed
don't really
Parise,
think they need it either. You got
Yeah.
Jason Pominville, who had a resurrection of a career. Same thing with Eric Stahl. And then you have Nino Niederreiter. You have
Zach Parise.
Zach Parise. You have, why am I thinking, Eric Holla.
Yeah.
Holla.
So, I mean, they got guys. They got talent there.
They
just
do,
think they need
yeah.
to find the head coach.
Yeah, true.
That team is kind of missing.
Well,
that.
no, not anymore. Yayo. I think he's a phenomenal coach. He took over there, didn't he not?
Yeah, St.
He's
Louis.
Oh, that's right. He was in Minnesota,
Yeah.
right? And St. Louis was the benefactor there. My bad. Yeah, they need a new head coach.
I mean, they have Boudreaux. Boudreaux's a good regular season coach. Can't coach in the playoffs, though.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I think you know that first.
So do Capitals fans.
Yes, we know that firsthand because we beat the Capitals because of Bruce Boudreaux.
I just cut down the validity of this team I'm about to bring up there with that gas. Sorry, folks.
All right, next up, Montreal.
Nah. I mean, they got talent. But that's another team that likes to shut down during playoff time. I mean, he would fit in perfectly there.
Not the
Because
picks.
everybody else disappears, so he would fit in absolutely perfectly. But
Plus, I don't think they'll have the picks to give up too because they have been a pretty successful team. So
They have been.
in terms of they have picks, but not the higher variety. That
no,
would take.
and I think the higher variety is going to be what it takes to get a guy
And
like
you,
over.
and you already burnt your big time trade bait with PK Subban going to go get Shea Weber. So you can't just say, hey, we'll give you Shea Weber. Washington's going to be like, no. We don't want Shea Weber. What good did that did your team?
I mean, I like it. I mean, there's definitely talent that they can send to Washington.
You could try Desharnais.
Well,
Gallagher.
it's already traded.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He's
Desharnais is
in
already gone.
Edmonton.
You're right. That trade's already made. Gallagher, you could possibly look at.
Maybe I would say Lars Eller, but he's already in Washington.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's already there.
You know what? Maybe Montreal is going to make this trade. It's a former Canadians becoming Capitals and then Capitals becoming Canadians.
They have
So-
the same colors. You
same
wouldn't have to really
colors, yeah.
change much of his wardrobe.
Yeah,
No, not
pretty
really.
much.
He definitely doesn't have to change his attire.
One more team before we go to break. San Jose.
No, we have two more teams because I'm talking about this bloody team.
All right. We'll talk about real fast. San Jose.
No, they're cap issues. And
Yeah, I would say the same thing.
Old players too. You know what I mean? You got to trade
Yeah.
some youth. The Bucks of youth need to go for Ovechkin.
I mean, there's definitely guys. They have the value. They
Yes,
have guys
they
of
do.
value.
yeah,
but
they do. Yeah.
You know, again, cap issues. You got guys that have big contracts there,
Yeah.
especially their lead defenseman.
All right. Rob, since you have been burning for this team, before we go to break, who's the team?
It's a Canadian team, so if it fits his needs, want to play in Canada.
You want to play a guessing game?
Yes.
I know exactly where you're
I
going.
know which one. Toronto.
Correct. Think about this deal now. I'm going to lay it on. I have even the specific deal in mind, too. You trade them Nazem Kadri, James Van Riemsdyk, Polak to give him a defenseman, and a high pick and a low pick for Ovechkin. Tell me that's not a good deal.
That's not a bad deal at all.
I mean, Kadri had, 29, 30 goals on the season. So, I mean, he's a proven goal scorer, a centerman. Van Riemsdyk has been up and down his career, but can, certainly be a young goal scorer for, he's still, right? He's still pretty young.
He's still young. I think he's like 28.
28, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you keep, obviously, you're going to keep Austin Matthews, and I believe they have Nylander as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
Mitch
Willem
Marner.
Nylander.
Yeah.
See, this whole deal is on the premise of two things. Reasons that Toronto's ahead of the curve where they expected them to be with Babcock. They didn't expect to be this good this soon. And Mitchell Marner coming up in the ranks. So now you have Matthews, Marner, and Nylander as your 1, 2, 3 center. You really don't need Kadri anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, granted to have those 4 center icemen, or you could play one of those guys on the wing, but you play Ovechkin in that spot as well. They're already a Stanley Cup contender in my book with Freddie Anderson and net, a pretty good defense. Yeah, losing Roman Polak will hurt, but maybe you sign a free agent defenseman over the offseason as well.
Like, say, Kevin Shattenkirk.
Correct.
I like
build a super team in NHL.
I like it. I like it. I think the only thing I would change, though, is if I'm Washington's GM, I want Mitch Marner over James Van Riemsdyk.
You want, yeah.
I would want that. I would want a young center.
Yeah, because, I mean, James Van Riemsdyk, as good as he's been, has he really been the touted player that when he got traded from Philadelphia?
No.
So,
but, however, I do think JVR could benefit from a system that Barry Trotz runs.
He could. Yeah, I mean, JVR is not completely to blame for his shortcomings in Toronto. Toronto has had their hand in that pretty well. They've had a lot of shortcomings. Phil Kessel left for a reason. So, that and the team was rebuilding. But I think he's fairly happy now that he's in Pittsburgh. I think he's very happy he traded.
Oh, I think so, too. He's got 2 cups.
Yeah, I don't think he's upset at all.
He likes that deal. One more comment before we go to break.
Sure.
David Roska, love you, man.
Again, man, coming through.
What do you think it is? Can you guys guess the comment?
Guess
the comment.
Ovi to Anaheim.
That is correct, sir.
For God's sakes. Did he
Could
at
happen.
least give a deal?
I would love that.
No.
Dave, while we're a commercial, come up with a deal. Comment, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. Then Brian can pick it apart.
And then I'll tell you if I like it or not.
And we'll talk about Carlisle when we get on the other side as well, branching into that. First off, we go to break, and we'll talk to you about Liberty Event Rentals. They're located at 2154 East Cambridge Street in Philadelphia, PA. Give them a call, 267-314-7368. They got tables, chairs, tents, linens, anything for your party or event needs. And you can locate them at www.libertyeventRentals.com. This is the Hockey Happy Hour on A2DRadio.com, and we'll be right back after this. A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located at 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard.
You're listening to the Hockey Happy Hour, only on A2DRadio.com.
God damn it, the Penguins are Stanley Cup champions. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. And like I said earlier, have you ever wanted the ultimate driving experience? Well, you got to go to BMW of Atlantic City. They're easy to get to, minutes off of exit 37, located at 6037 Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey. Give them a call at 609-568-9200 or look them up online at www.bmwofatlanticcity.com. And we come back wondering, did our favorite Ducks fan, David Roska, did he respond to Brian's question of coming up with a deal for Mr. Alexander Ovechkin?
He actually just sent it.
Good. Right on time, David.
All right, so he's got Ovechkin to Anaheim for centerman Chris Wagner or goaltender Jonas Enroth or defenseman Simone Dupre or Carbanian Holzer. Which one you have trade for Ovi? Well, all right, so
a couple
Dave.
of them. Yeah.
Dave, I don't think we have to worry about Enroth. Enroth, I believe, is a free agent at the end of the year. We only signed him as a emergency backup.
He'll probably be the backup for the Knights anyway.
Simone Dupre, I would be a part of getting rid of him, getting rid of his big contract because he has yet to be healthy for Anaheim. Chris Wagner, I would want to keep Wagner. And Corbanian Holzer, huh? I kind of like what the physicality that he brings to this team. I think he's still a fairly young defenseman, and I think his grit is good. It's something that the defense needs.
Hey, how about how about captain for captain? Getzlaf for Ovechkin.
No.
That'd be a bad deal for the Capitals.
I'm going to smack you with this production station.
This is my bad side. Hit this side. Actually, they're both bad.
So here's my deal, Dave, for Alex Ovechkin. I'm trading Corey Perry. I'm trading what the hell's this kid's name? Max, he's a winger.
Scherzer?
No.
Legend Max.
I want to say Max Jones. I think his name is Max Jones. He just drafted him a year or two ago. Maybe we'll throw in Sami Vatanen and a first-round pick. You send us Ovi.
First round pick ain't gonna mean anything anyway. So
send us Ovi and maybe Andre Burakovsky? I'd be okay with that.
All
Two
right.
wingers that the Anaheim desperately needs.
Max Jones.
Haha, I was right.
Related to Keith? I don't think so.
That's possible. We don't know.
More like Casey.
Casey Jones.
Nice Ninja Turtle reference.
You like that?
I do. Frank Vespi chiming in. It's hot as balls outside, and the Penguins still suck.
Thanks, Frank. Keep those periodic updates coming.
Also saying, so we're ready for the Caps fire sale?
It's not going to happen according to their GM and all the reporters in Washington.
Well, apparently Oshie and the Capitals are close to a deal.
Right.
Shattenkirk probably won't come back.
Why would
We're not necessarily sure that Ovi is even getting traded.
Yeah, this is just a game. We don't even think that this is really going to happen.
I mean, the GM in Washington has indirectly said that Ovi is available.
Indirectly.
So, I mean, who's to say that, this is a game, but
But then again, he might just be testing the waters anyway to see what the hell's out there. He may not even really have any intention of sending Ovi out anyway.
Right,
You know?
and-
It's been a big cock tease with Ovi. I get it.
Yeah.
no, I think what he was saying is we're going to listen to offers, and if we find something that's good enough that will help our hockey team and not hurt it by losing the 50-goal scorer, maybe we'll do it.
Yeah, because, I mean, let's be honest here. When you start talking about trading superstars away, that's when you get to the point where someone's getting fleeced. Question is who? And you don't want it to be you. You don't want to be the one with egg on your face after trading away Alexander Ovechkin. You would get fired immediately if that happened. Like, if the Caps missed the playoffs after trading away Ovechkin, you could consider your job done, terminated.
The Caps should hire an outside consultant, Doug Pitchford from FDN, because he's used to fleecing people on trade deals.
But anyway, so going through that, Brian, at any point, do you consider the Anaheim Ducks capable of going out and getting Alexander Ovechkin? Or do you think that really, in reality, no?
I think they could. I don't think they will. You're asking to bring in a lot of money. And the reason why I say you trade away Corey Perry makes $8 million on the cap. I think it's like 8.5 or something like that.
That's a lot of money, yeah.
So, you obviously could trade away Corey Perry. Sammy Vatanen's only got a couple more years on his contract. Maybe.
It's a possibility.
They definitely have pieces to make a move like that.
They could. Yeah, they absolutely could. They are not lacking the talent depth to go out there and get a guy like Alexander Ovechkin.
I do like the fact that there are, the depth can get them basically anybody that they want. But
This is true. They could really go get Connor McDavid if they really tried.
I think so.
Thumbs up.
Yeah?
I mean, think about it. Don't hop at it.
I'm thinking
Sorry. We'll take that offline. It's a
All right.
fantasy trade question.
Well, with that being said,
I was trying to be discreet about it since
Yeah.
we are talking
wait,
hockey here.
This is not fantasy dominance now. This is the Hockey Happy Hour.
We'll take it back to hockey real quick. We have a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, our resident fan, Mike Kleinkoff, chiming in response to our poll question. He even says Malkin should have won the Conn Smythe Award.
Yeah, he was saying that the night that the award was given out. So
Yep.
Yeah. Well, either way, we're moving on.
Yes.
All right, on to one last question about the Ducks. Randy Carlyle getting extended for only 1 year, almost like a trial period. What is up with that? Is that because they got eliminated in the Western Conference Finals, or is it because maybe the Ducks are just using this as a transition to find another coach?
the extension gets him through, 2018, 2019?
Yeah. It's only 1 year.
So they only signed Carlisle to the 1 year this year then.
Yeah.
I thought they signed him to a multi-year contract, but even better. So I think it's just a transition. I mean, Carlisle did a good job with his team. I expected way less, personally. Getzlaf kind of flourished a little bit more, especially in the playoffs behind Randy Carlisle. And, I mean, there's a lot of players that benefited from this. You saw growth from Silverberg. You saw a lot of quick growth from Rickard Rakell. But you saw Corey Perry suffer for most of the season.
Until the playoffs.
Which, I mean, even still, I thought he didn't play his best. He only had a few goals, maybe 10, 12 points, something like that in the playoffs.
Well,
I think it's just a transition to get through this year until they can find a new coach, and they already need to find a new assistant coach as Paul McLean and the Anaheim Ducks have mutually parted ways.
That's correct.
that's going to be interesting. He's probably take a head coaching position most likely.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a couple out there.
I'm sorry. I'm going to repeat what I said last week. I think this is bloody disrespectful to Randy Carlyle, a guy that this is his second stint with Anaheim, right?
Second.
So a long history with them. He took your team to the Western Conference Finals. When there was a part during the season, and you touched upon this when you were giving your breakdown, that you didn't think they were even going to make the playoffs, let alone dominate in the playoffs up until the Western Conference Finals. I think it's downright disrespectful that you're obviously telling him you're not the man for the job. You're just the man right now. I'm sorry. That's how I'm taking it. And I would have said no.
Well, I mean, it's possible that it was what Carlisle himself wanted. We could look at it that way. I mean,
that we don't know. Yeah, exactly. Maybe he was only looking to sign a 1-year deal. Maybe they offered him multi-years. He goes, no, I'll just sign a higher maybe salary for the 1 year.
But
yeah.
I will,
Maybe.
but I will admit, I hear why Rob's saying that, because not only is Carlisle only getting extended 1 year, not only did he take the team to the Western Conference Finals this year, he won the Stanley Cup with the Anaheim Ducks.
I agree, and that's why I was wanting to give Carlisle the opportunity to come back this year and just see how he did. Now, like I said at the beginning of the season, I thought Anaheim was going to be a first-round bust, and I said that multiple times. And they wound up finally burning out in the Western Conference Finals.
True, but they did snap their Game 7 losing streak.
I think that was all Bruce Boudreau.
It still don't matter. It still counts.
I agree.
It still counts.
I agree. It still counts.
Do
Absolutely.
not rob me from giving your team an award, for God's sake. Seriously, how dare you?
I'm not trying to rob you. I promise you that. But Randy Carlisle is a good coach. He's shown that he can win, and it took a little while to get started, but Anaheim played well. They played well through a good chunk of the season. They wound up winning the division again for I believe the 5th straight year.
50 millionth time. They always win the division. It just seems like it. They literally always win the division.
Great team. David Raska chiming in with Vatanen code Ovi. I'm not quite sure what that means, Dave. You might have to elaborate. But yeah, I like that they extended him the 1 year. Maybe it's just going a year-by-year basis. Randy Carlisle is up there in age. Maybe it's just something that he's trying to do. Like, let's go year by year, see how I feel, and go from there.
Well, it is an abnormal situation, but we'll see what happens as the offseason elaborates further and we find out what's going on.
Based on the changes that they make to the roster, this could be a really good move for Anaheim, though. I do believe that.
Yeah, I got you. It could be. It could be a possibility. But moving on from that, we continue our Ovechkin rundown here. And is the price right for, say, a team in the East? Team that kind of went on the downtrodden and barely made the playoffs this year, the black and gold Boston Bruins. Now, the Bruins did manage to make the playoffs this year. They traded with the Flyers this year. We made it last year. They made it this year. Do you think that they could go out and go get an Ovechkin, or do you think that the talent's too old to go out there? Or because you don't want to trade your young pieces away, because they're good young pieces that they have over there.
Rob, you want to go first?
No, go for it, man.
Okay, so, again, same situation in Chicago. Boston's another team that is up against that cap.
That is true.
Now, if there are some aging players on that roster that could potentially retire this year.
Chara's a possibility.
That's who I was kind of keying at, but they still have some big contracts that they have to worry about. Now, they could move a guy like Brad Marchand, but I doubt that's going to happen because he's a key piece in that franchise.
He's not.
He's a great player. I don't see him going anywhere. Same with Patrice Bergeron.
He's not moving either.
No, those guys are going to be Boston Bruins for life. No, there's not really anybody else that I can think of that's on that roster that I could really see them trading for Alex Ovechkin.
It would have to be young pieces, and why would you do that?
And I don't see him trading a guy like David Pastrnak.
And they're not trading Tuukka Rask, because why the hell would you do that?
No, you're going to trade Tuukka Rask to Washington, who already has Braden Holtby?
Braden Holtby doesn't make any sense, you know? So, really, Boston doesn't have anything to be able to do that with, you know?
They're just too old. Oh, he says Vatanen for Ovi is what he's saying.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I agree with that. I would package Vatanen in a deal for Ovi.
All right, so we already got the Maple Leafs out of the way. Here's one. New York. Not the Islanders, but the Rangers.
That's a possibility. But the thing of it is they really need to improve their blue line, not their forwards.
Yeah.
So I think that's really what they're going to be focusing on this offseason. So I don't think that will come to fruition, but I'm not saying it couldn't.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough sell for me on New York just because of that. What you had said, their blue line was the major reason why they couldn't beat Montreal.
Correct.
So why the hell would you go to Ovechkin? That ain't making up for anything.
Right.
Before we move on, Chris Dunn chiming in on YouTube. Screw both these teams. Let's go Flyers. A lot movement is going to happen. Nico, Oscar, Moran, Hogg, drop McDonald somehow. Add different Capitals that played for Hackstall.
Yeah, I read that. I was wondering.
Which dude?
Speaking of,
Who do the Capitals have that played for Hackstall?
I'll look that up.
That's a very good question because I actually don't know. I don't know, actually. There's something I didn't know.
I like Oscar Lindblom. I like Sam Moran. I like Kevin Hogg. Obviously, you got to try and get rid of McDonald's contract.
Oh, my God. And Weiss. Please, Knights, take him. Please. You can't take what's-his-nuts that we went and traded for this year.
I still think McDonald doesn't have a no movement clause, I believe, right?
Yeah. So we
He
can't.
does?
I'm trying to remember. Does he or does he not? I don't think he does, to be honest with you.
I don't think he does either. So maybe you can somehow they take McDonald.
Maybe either him or Weiss. It's got to be one of the two because we can't get rid of what is his name?
Filppula.
Filppula, thank you. We can't get rid of Filppula. He's got a no movement clause. I don't know why the hell we got him in the first place with a no movement clause. Doesn't make any sense.
Is he talking about Oshie? Because Oshie played for North Dakota.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, that's
he just
what it was. It was Oshie.
Yeah, he responded with the shoe, and I was a little curious about it. Then he quickly commented TJ Yoshi.
Dude, I would love that deal, but we do not have the ability to do that.
Well, unfortunately, Chris, with the Flyers' money issues, and then from what I'm hearing, Capitals and Oshie are really close on a deal.
Our money issues were getting better. This is the beginning of the end of the cap issues this year. But you just sank some money, and in a great this bears talking about too at some point. We don't have to get into it directly right now, but the the contract extension for Shane Gostisbehere.
Ah, yes, thank you.
Beautiful deal by Hackstall.
Yes.
I believe it was 6 years, averaging $4.5 million a year. Just beautiful deal, well done.
And you know what? I think that's also good for Gostisbehere, too, because I think Gostisbehere obviously believes in Philadelphia. He didn't ask for a big payday after having really good seasons. So I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with the result we got out of that. But moving on to the St. Louis Blues. No comment. All right.
I don't think
Yeah,
Washington or St. Louis really.
They're not going to be on talking terms after the Kevin Shattenkirk situation.
Check out the big brain on Brad. Yeah, 6-year, $27 million contract, $4.5 million cap hit until the 22-23 season.
Yeah,
Beautiful
so
deal.
I think we can safely say that that I think St. Louis ain't going to happen. No, that's not going to happen. But moving on, we already did Edmonton. Washington skipped that. We already did Anaheim. Here's one. Ottawa.
They could. I think they definitely have the cap room to do that. I think they have some good talent that they can trade away.
And they're a Canadian team.
They are. And they were just in the Eastern Conference Finals.
They were. And they have solid goaltending.
Take Bobby Ryan. It would take Bobby Ryan. To get
It would
that
take
done.
Bobby Ryan. Yes, it would.
And that might not be bad, because replace his production with Ovi. That's an uptick for the Senators. Bobby Ryan comes a little bit closer back to the area. He's working his way back, from the West Coast, to stop in Ottawa,
Yeah, he still wouldn't be on the Flyers, and that's never happening, by the way. But with that being said, though, I can't rule out the possibility for Ottawa. Ottawa has pieces they could give.
Yeah.
Think about this. Maybe, and this is a crazy one, but maybe you think about Kyle Turris leaving. And the only reason why is because he did have a bad season. And he had a better season, and he got back to his ways. But do you really want to go with a guy who's hot and cold? Then again, Ovi's the same way. So you know what? You're kind of trading for the same. So it doesn't really matter.
The Katy Perrys of the hockey world.
Actually, that's a great name for them, the Katy Perrys of the NHL. Kyle Turris and Alexander Ovechkin. They're both the same.
Hot and cold.
But with that all being said, they're also divas too, so that we'll go with that one as well. And next up, the Stanley Cup runners-up, the Nashville Predators. Now, if they could go get Alexander Ovechkin, oh wow, consider the Nashville Predators a cup contender. I mean, this year, they overachieved and got there. But you add Ovechkin to that offense, holy sh! Like, good God, that's scary. Imagine Ovechkin and Johansson working together.
No.
That ain't pretty.
No, I don't think Nashville's going to try and mess up that what they had this year. They had a really good mojo, especially once they hit the playoffs.
That's true. They did. I'm not gonna. Yeah.
I don't think as a GM and as a head coach and as all that, that's something you don't want to mess up. Yeah, we got there. Yeah, we came within 2 games of winning. But do we really want to mess with this lineup too much?
Well, I mean, the Flyers did tinker with our lineup a little bit too much, and look what happened to us. So
Truth.
Thank you, Paul Holmgren. Anyway, moving on. This one's an interesting one. The Penguins. I don't think that could ever happen in a million years because you have to trade away everybody on the HBK line, first of all, because your cap space is ridiculous. Second of all, you'd have to trade somebody young away. And I don't think they want to trade Gensel away, nor do you want to trade Runta, nor do you want to trade away a guy like Rust. So you don't want to trade key players like them away, which that would be what it would take to go get Alexander Ovechkin from the Washington Capitals to put him in a black and gold Pittsburgh Penguins jersey. But could you imagine that? Malkin, Crosby, and Ovechkin on the same team. The Penguins would win the Cups for the next 3 years. Or actually 7.
If that happens, I'm defecting from the USA, all right? I can't. I won't be able to deal. My head will explode.
There'd be no stopping the Pittsburgh Penguins if that happened. There just really wouldn't be. But I don't think that would ever happen in a million years because they do not have the ability.
Well,
they really do not.
You just won 2 cups in a row. I mean, maybe if you're going to mimic the Edmonton Oilers of the 80s, yeah, sure.
Sure. But, I mean, to try to stack that, you're killing your youth. So what happens when Crosby's old and Ovechkin's old?
Yeah.
And Malkin's old? And they're not as young as you'd like to think.
They're fine with guys like Rust and Sherry to take the torch. They don't need an Ovechkin.
Yeah, so I think
And
we're
Gensel.
good there.
Gensel, too, yeah. Don't let me forget.
Yeah, so
Don't worry, I won't.
I don't think that's going to happen. But good God, that's a scary image, though.
That's what I'm here
three
for,
of them
buddy.
on the same team.
Oh, yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, no one would like that. All right, here's one. Colorado. Now, that's actually a possibility. Think about it. You could trade away a guy like, say, a Landeskog or a Duchesne. They're looking to rebuild. Now, would OV want to go there? Probably not. But that is a very possible landing spot if you really wanted to consider rebuilding your franchise and getting rid of Alexander Ovechkin. I'd fleece the hell out of Colorado and get their talent and send them Ovechkin. Are you kidding?
You know, I'm glad you brought this up because that was before even this Calgary offer, quote unquote, that was thrown out, never substantiated, by the way, with Colorado. I mean, they've been talking about shopping, Landeskog, Nate McKinnon, and Duchesne. So, I mean, I think you got to keep McKinnon. I mean, he's just a flat-out talent, so you eliminate that down to Landeskog and Duchesne. I'd be comfortable, as good as Matt Duchesne is and is your captain, but you're talking about like captain. No, Landeskog's the captain, pardon me, right? But still, I'd be comfortable with that to bring in an Ovi because there's I really feel with both Landeskog and Duchesne, they're not happy playing in Colorado, and you're not going to get their max effort.
Yeah, I mean, that team really hasn't done anything to get themselves any better anyway. So
Ovi to the Coyotes, yes.
Actually,
yes.
that's a possible landing spot anyway, because think about it. The Coyotes have the players easily to trade away. They have a veteran defenseman that you could easily send away, albeit he wanted to stay in Arizona. And you also could easily go and say, hey, you want Duclair or do you want Domi?
Yeah.
If you want either one of them, just give us Ovi.
They got the youth.
They got the youth to trade away to go, and that might benefit Washington even more to go get youth instead of trading vet for vet, you know?
Right.
That's a possibility. That's not out of the realms of possibility. Now, moving on, the Vancouver Canucks. This would be a smart move for them because they absolutely need something going for them at this point. They're just terrible, but they don't have the talent to trade away.
Right, I was going to say they have nothing to trade away.
Yeah, this would be great for them to get them back into some kind of contention, but they don't have the talent.
I would say maybe one, if not both of the Sedins, but
they're getting
they're up
so
there.
old. You know,
They're up there.
They're going to retire soon. Like it's inevitable at this point. You are not trading them away. You can't trade them both to Washington. So it's just, it wouldn't work. The Devils. This I hope never happens, but I'm not gonna lie, it's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
You say, hey, I'll take an Adam Henrique and a Taylor Hall, and we'll give you Alexander Ovechkin straight up. Those would be the two players I'd go after immediately.
I could digs.
I would say Camilleri, but he's too old, so I wouldn't go with that.
You're just too old. Too old.
I could definitely see that Palmieri being a part of that deal.
Palmieri too, yeah. I forgot all about
Palmieri. Could be a part of that deal.
He could be a part of that deal. He's a solid player. I mean, but that's a possibility too, that the Devils could try and trade for him, and I hope that does not happen because that would make the Devils actually so much better than what they are right now.
It's okay though, because you know why?
Why?
Joshua Harris owns the Devils.
That's a good point, and they're not smart. So,
No,
we're
look
good.
at how they're running the Sixers into the ground.
So we're good. We can avoid this. How about the Buffalo Sabres? Now, they have the talent to trade away. You could say, hey, we'll give you Matt Molson for Alexander Ovechkin.
I would probably maybe see Kyle Okposo.
Kyle Okposo as well. I mean, they have the ability to send somebody away and go grab an Alexander Ovechkin and put him with Jack Eichel. That's a scary situation right there where you could put Jack Eichel and Alexander Ovechkin on the same team.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that happening. But I think, because an article I read the other day and I'm going to jump back to the Blackhawks.
Sure.
There's talks of them moving a big contract, a big name player. And they never ruled out Patrick Kane not being available in this. They ruled out Jonathan Taves, never ruled out Patrick Kane. So maybe Buffalo winds up either working out a trade for either Ovechkin to play on the wing with Eichel, or maybe Patrick Kane to go home to play on the wing next to Jack Eichel. It's just a possibility.
Please do not make that deal. I do not want to see the Buffalo Sabres a good team. Please no. Please no. I hate the Buffalo Sabres. Screw that. Fuck that deal. No.
What, you don't want to see? You don't want to see Patrick Kane?
No.
You don't want to see Patrick Kane? What, 4 times a year?
No. I don't even want to see him once. Like, seriously.
I would love to.
I love Patrick Kane. I would love to see him
on the
closer.
Buffalo Sabres.
I would love to. That way we see him more and we can demolish him and make him an obsolete mule. Sorry.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No, my hatred for the Sabres is too strong. I cannot approve of that.
Samuel Moran will Darian Hatcher like he did the Crosby.
If he does that, then that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be great if he gives him a root canal. I think Kane deserves one anyway because he's an asshole anyway. But that's a different story for a different time. But anyway, moving
I
on.
want Tumpo. Give me Tumpo.
The Detroit Red Wings.
That's Dylan Larkin.
Dylan Larkin, Antoniciu.
A struggling Dylan Larkin. New space, new spot.
New arena?
New arena.
Why not bring in a guy like Ovi to sell tickets?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it is a dynasty franchise that is not afraid to go out and get veteran players to restack their team. They did this in 2002 and they won a Stanley Cup. Albeit that was without a salary cap.
I think Detroit could definitely get Ovi, but I think it'd have to be like a draft pick based type of trade.
It would, because they don't have as much talent in the forward position as you would really need. You do have the Dylan Larkin, like you said, but do you really want to give him away? And at the same time, you would also have to package probably an Antoniciu, who's a good secondary player that would also be on that side. Maybe a D-man. Well, actually, no. Wait a minute. Dylan Larkin counts. So what am I talking about? Forget that.
So
Anyway.
maybe you do, if I'm Detroit, first round this year, second round this year, first round next year.
That's actually, that's what I'm thinking, around that range.
Let's see. Let me look at the roster real quick.
By the way, the new arena is going to be called the Caesars Pizza Arena.
Little Caesars
It is
Pizza.
no
yeah.
longer going to be the Joe Lou because the Joe Lou's going bye-bye.
Coming soon, the Antacid Arena.
I mean, it sucks because you're never going to get another name like that. And every arena, every football field, every baseball field, they're all going to have some kind of name like that. And, it annoys me.
I hear you.
Next up, the Dallas Stars. They would have to trade Tyler Seguin away, for one thing.
I don't think they would have to.
Yeah.
I don't think they would
Really?
necessarily have to.
What are you thinking? Are you thinking Patrick Sharp? No. Because that'd take more than Patrick Sharp.
I think Patrick Sharp is a free agent.
Oh, okay. Then
I
that
think.
wouldn't
I'm
matter.
not sure about that.
So that wouldn't matter anyway. I don't know. Dallas, you'd have to trade away a lot of pieces to your offense. If Rich Peverly was still playing, you might have a possibility of packaging him and Tyler Seguin to Washington to go get Ovechkin. But Peverly's retired, so
David Raska over to the Panthers?
that's a possibility. They have plenty of talent to send away. You could easily send them Reinhardt, Huberdeau.
Ooh, okay. So I want to jump back to Detroit. So you got the first and the second from this year. You got a first round next year. Maybe you send Anthony Mantha.
I forgot about Mantha.
And maybe a defenseman. Let's look at their defenseman real quick.
I don't know. The defenseman, that's a bit suspect, though, because their D-men were still not as solid as they would like them to have been.
Maybe Brent Smith? Send him out that way?
Possibility. Not too far gone.
But
not too
obviously, like I
far
said,
with
you're
the
gonna a
imagination.
trade with Detroit. You're gonna want to focus around draft picks.
Yeah, that's going to have to be your key because the talent anywhere else would be you don't want to really give Larkin away. So that's because that's the only other talent you can give away. They'd be legitimate in that deal. Moving along with that, Los Angeles Kings. Now, before you scuff at this is actually a very big possibility. The Los Angeles Kings could very well go get Alexander Ovechkin.
I'm not going to scuff at that. I agree.
You trade Tyler Toffoli straight to Washington. Don't tell me Washington ain't picking up the phone and thinking, I'll take Tyler Toffoli. What else you going to give me? You know? And then you can talk about a possible trade on defense. Give a defenseman away. Not only that, you can also send another forward away and go get Alexander Ovechkin. Maybe even a Jeff Carter.
Well, here's my only problem with that offer. Tyler Toffoli just signed a 3-year extension.
He did, but it's only a 3-year extension as compared to Ovi's contract.
Fair enough. All right. Maybe not Toffoli. Like maybe I'll send Jeff Carter.
Jeff Carter was definitely a big realm possibility I was thinking there.
You send Jeff Carter to Washington.
Low-level players you could send like Dwight King away.
Maybe. There's one guy. Maybe send him a Tyler Clifford.
Tyler Clifford's a possibility as well.
Who else played on the 70s line? It was Toffoli, it was Carter, and who else?
And I don't remember. Damn it, I don't remember who it was.
I'm going to take my statement back from before. I think it would take a Seguin or a Jamie Benn to get Ovechkin. I'm just looking through the rest of the roster.
That was who I was thinking of too, for Dallas. But
70s.
but
Muzzin.
I'm with you.
Haha.
Muzzin, there we go. Jake
That's who it was.
Muzzin. Jake Muzzin, thank you. But
He's a defenseman, but yeah, you definitely throw Muzzin into that deal.
Yeah.
Carter, Muzzin, maybe a first-round pick.
Washington picks up that phone. Washington picks up that phone and says, yeah, we'll take that. Youth for veteran leadership and a superstar. And then Los Angeles is right back in the playoff picture with Johnny Quick as your goalie.
Right, and you're giving them Carter, who's the center that they need. You're giving them Muzzin, who's a defenseman that they need. Because they're obviously losing Shattenkirk.
Yeah.
And then you get a first-round pick for the year.
Yeah. Los Angeles is more than capable of making this deal. And if they do that, they're back in the playoffs. And they are a possible cup contender again because you still got Johnny Quick in goal.
As long as Ovechkin doesn't disappear, I agree.
It still don't matter.
Tanner Pearson.
Because
Pearson, that's who I was thinking of.
Tanner Pearson. And you know what else? It doesn't really matter because Johnny Quick could stack him another freaking cup. And if he's got Ovechkin in front of him playing, that might be one hell of a motivator right there to go win another one.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. But he also has
Muzzin
Braden
Roby.
Holtby, too.
Yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. And before we get into anything else, we'll talk about more of them later on if we want to. But still, time for us to head on out. And before you guess no, The Flyers would have to trade away our ass if we wanted to try and go get Alexander Ovechkin, and I'm not willing to do that. Sorry.
Fuck Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah.
We don't need him.
But anyway, with that being said, this has been the Hockey Happy Hour. One last sponsor we want to talk to about before we leave, and that is the Soap Stash. Treat your skin with the best soap you'll ever need. You can contact them at 844-890-3197 or online at www.soapstash.com or visit them at Facebook at Soapstash LLC, where they would prefer you to order.
Do it. Do it now.
This has been the Hockey Happy Hour on A2DRadio.com, and we will be right back next week with our end of the year awards. So keep it here next Tuesday on A2DRadio.com.